So we are gonna get started now with the closing ceremony. So first, we are gonna be. Let me share my screen. First, we will be starting with the Daily Grind by Shy Guy Mole. So let me go ahead and open up the game. It's gonna tell me I have a virus. All right. Unfortunately, I won't be able to stream audio, but the audio will be present uh, in the video. So, whoever is representing for the Daily Grind, if they wanted to come unmute themselves.
Yes, that would be myself.
I do believe you have a Google Slides to present as well.
Indeed, I very much do have a Google Slides to present as well. Let me pull it up really quick. While people are tuning in to that, I'm going to take a drink of water because I was not expecting to go first.
You're like one of the first people who submitted, though.
I was the second person who submitted, but it is. So yeah, I'm Solomon Mollett. I made the Daily Grind, and this is my presentation slash post-mortem on that. I've called it the Sisyphean Ordeal of a Game Jam, because it very much was. Alright, so let's start off first because the reason we all joined the Game Jam, most of us were to like have fun, most of it was to get some projects on our resumes, etc., etc. What I personally wanted to get out of this was that I wanted to make a 3D game. I've only ever made a 2D game solo in a game jam. I have worked with 3D in a game jam, but that was in an artist role, and I wanted to do everything myself this time. I wanted to get fighting into my game somehow. I'm a big fighting game player, and I wanted to have fun in it. Because who doesn't love having fun in their video games? So let's go over the theme for the game jam. So when I heard toil, I went through a bit of a multi-step process, and I'd like to take you all through something like that. So if we look at the definition for toil, you'll see that it means to work extremely hard or incessantly, like you toil away at something. And when I heard toil, that made me think work. But when you think work, you think lots of work. It's not just like a normal amount of work that anyone can deal with. This is like like nearly an endless amount of work. Wait, hold on a minute. Endless work, never ending work, insurmountable amounts of work, even. Mount, mountain, Sisyphus. Now, for all of us, it took about a minute to get to that, but for me, it took about 5 seconds because I'm built different. Let's go over time usage because it didn't take 5 seconds. It actually took me 5 minutes to come up with this idea. So idea was easy. That was 5 minutes. And then game design, art creation, sound effect creation, sourcing music, bug squashing, idea refinement, and playtesting took about 30 hours out of the 48 that we were allotted. So in conclusion, I'm looking into the idea guy profession. I think it can be a really lucrative place of work for me, personally. But of course, you can't go into a game plan without. You can't go into a game jam without having a few like boons on your side. So the speed multipliers for me here was that I had a basic premise in mind. I wasn't going into this completely blind. I wanted to have 3D. I wanted to have something where you can punch something. Plus, this isn't my first rodeo. This is actually my third rodeo. Technically second because this is my second solo project, but it's not my first, and that's what matters. I know how to scope. Scoping is always the biggest issue at every project, and I knew that I wanted to keep it short and sweet. I knew how to use a few tools, namely Trello, which is good for making an ideas board. I knew how to use Godot, which was the engine of choice. I knew how to use GitHub, which was for versioning and like saving my work somewhere in case I died in a fire, I guess. I had an art tablet, which was a little less important, but it was good to make all the 2D art that you can see from the models. And most importantly, I'm the blend man. I love using Blender. It can be a little bit of a headache, but I can shoot out like models really quick with that. So next, I'd like to go over a few development or in development screenshots. This is the pose that I used for when I was making the 2D art that you can see on the like cover image. Yeah, I just have them positioned with the first frame of this punching animation here. This is a side profile of the parry animation. I very much took inspiration from the Street Fighter 3. This is the boulder. Originally, there was a version of the boulder which had two smaller spheres on the sides. I was going to have the boulder punch back, but then I realized that would be way too complex for this, so I just had it roll. This is the stage from a bird's eye view. In game, you can't tell that you're in a box because of a few camera tricks that I did. And this is a previous version of the stage when the game was going to be more of a side scroller rather than a sort of top downish one. Now, of course, I did make a few mistakes. I didn't really save and commit often enough. The version of the boulder with the two rocks for hands got overwritten, and I hadn't GitHub at the time. Plus, a lot of my commits are like a bunch of files getting changed, and I didn't really have a good way to plan them, so I put stuff like made changes. I didn't really get enough sleep throughout the thing. The first night, I only got like 6 hours of sleep, and that completely killed my Pokemon sleep rating. I know I'm not getting an S in that one. And tonight, I had a bit of a night terror, and I ended up waking up at like 5:50, and I had to force myself to go back to sleep until like 7:30ish. But then, most importantly, I misused a very important node. So, when Sam plays the game, you'll notice that when she walks into the boulder, Sisyphus will bump backwards. This was not originally how the game works. Originally, I never even thought about the case where you could bump into the boulder, because for the boulder, instead of using a rigid body, I use a character body. And the thing about a character body interacting with another character body is that when that happens, you can just push the boulder. Which, I mean, it's in theme, but like, that's not what I was trying to do here. And I ended up finding this out halfway through the second day, and at that point I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to learn how to use a rigid body for this, and it's also already way too late to fix this. So I made it so that you bump into the boulder if you walk into it. Alright, here's a few Family Guy funny moments, as the kids say. Me naming a variable angle of attack and then adding Larry with it. He knows the context for this, I know the context for this, a few of you also know the context for this. If you don't, I'm sorry, but you're not in on the joke. This is me finding out that instead of doing a simple blocking mechanic, I should do a parry mechanic, and then it becoming part of the focus of the game. Here's me showing my proficiency in Godot when I forgot how to make a scene change. This is the moment that I realized I was using a character body instead of a rigid body, and I was able to confide in one of my fellow Game Jam contributors.
I was featured!
Yes, you were. Here's me saying that I was completely done with the game at about 11:22 today, and then here's a few. I may have forgotten a few things. But yeah, overall the game jam went pretty well for me. Special thanks to my equipment for not failing on me. It's getting a little old at this point, but it's not unusable. Tim Fallen, he created all the music that you can hear in the game. Tim Fallen is abuse. Like, the music that he makes, it goes so hard. And of course, a very special thanks to my mom, because she made food and I was able to not starve to death. Very useful when you're in a game jam. So, yeah. Thank you for watching.
All right, thank you so much, Solomon. You have pretty much covered most of the interview questions that we would have asked you, so I guess I'll just go through just kind of what the gameplay looks like. I was kind of playing around with it last night, so I already forgot how to play this game, and I did not read the instructions.
You punch with U, you kick with I.
Oh, that's right.
Parry with O. You'll notice that as you punch and kick, there's those little swipes. I did that myself. I made a swiping thing, and then I set up a script so that it'll...
Oh no!
Or next to it.
And I do really love the end scene or the result.
Thank you.
What was the highest score that you've achieved in this game?
I think it's around 4,000, but most of that is from comboing the ball instead of getting it up the mountain. I probably could have made making actual distance factor more into the final score, but it's okay.
I don't even know if I'm really playing this correctly. I've just parry the ball to make it stop and then I kick it again.
That's about it. That's the game.
All right. Yes, I highly recommend this game for anyone. It's very fun. Especially this is the best I've ever done playing this game. Maybe not the highest, but this is like the best I could have done. All right, and we'll just let it.
Effects.
Yeah, the effects are really good. I'm just gonna push it down the hill. All right. Well, thank you so much, Solomon. Next up, we have the Toiler. So that's gonna be the next game up here. Let me get it up. Windows protected me from running virus on my PC. Very cool. All right. Next up, we have the Toiler. So whoever would like to come up and speak for that.
Hi, that's me. I'm Dachi. This is my first ever Godot project and Game Jam submission at all. So, oh man, where do I even begin?
Alright.
Let me. Huh?
You could begin by telling us like what your game about.
Right. So, I had an idea. Right. This was before the theme was released in preparation for the jam. I was just kind of brainstorming, and turns out I kind of had this weird premonition that I wanted to make a game that basically deceived you in like 1 second. Like it took you through a really easy tutorial, and then as soon as you move to the next level, you gotta kill God. And turns out it fit very well with the given theme of toil. Because that's exactly what I wanted to be. I wanted to be like, oh, it's a nice little game, and then move on to the next level. You just learn how to walk, basically, and suddenly you have this huge responsibility on your shoulders. And I think it's pretty obvious to say that this idea was inspired by the Souls games. But yeah, then the theme word got released, and turns out most of the theme more so relates to me toiling on making this game rather than this game being a toil because I couldn't figure out how to make half the things work. But I did end up learning a lot. So right now, as you can see, Sam's spinning the sword around and trying to escape the level, but I put a wall there. I was initially thinking of making it more classic first. You have your own animated character and like a hitbox in front that checks if something's in there, and then you click a button and you swing the sword. But I realized I didn't have enough time to figure all that out, so I decided to just attach the sword to a stickman drawing I made while I was trying to learn Godot, roughly an hour before the game jam started. So. And I attached the sword to it, and I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool if it was mouse controlled. So I had to look it up real quick, and I made the sword track towards where the mouse position is, and also slowing it down a little bit so it wouldn't like snap instantly. And I'm like, okay, now I can put a collision on this, and whatever goes in gets hurt. So like that poor little buddy that I call a Glaggle, he's getting chopped in half right now. If Sam shot it in half instead of running into the blade. Yeah, that's the first level, and then immediately it hits you with this.
Oh my god.
You can't hear it since you're watching from Sam's stream, but I managed to find an unsettling. It was like a funny track at the beginning. I'm streaming it too in the window if you want to look and hear it. It's like a little upbeat track for the tutorial. Everything is from Kevin MacLeod, by the way, legendary guy for all the royalty-free music. Yeah. You kill the Glaggles, and then, you see this unsettling message. Move on to the next level now, with like a bloodied arrow on the wall. And as soon as you go in, unsettling ambiance. You go up the stairs, you hit a collision trigger that changes the music, which proves to be a lot more of a pain to create. And then the boss fight music kicks in, and you're supposed to kill this guy, which actually does a lot of damage if you touch his face. Let me read this so I can hear myself talk. If you can see on both my and Sam's screen, the little pink thing he has just behind his jaw, there is actually a whole tongue sprite underneath. And I wanted to make him like a legitimate boss fight where he has like a move or two, and you're supposed to jump over it or not jump, not get hit. But ultimately, I couldn't figure that out in time unless I wanted to lose sleep over it. So I ended up just putting a collision that's a little bit outward towards in the skull, so if you get really greedy and like to jump at him and swing, you're going to take a lot of damage. Anyway, he has 100 health, you do 5 damage to him, that's it, you go over, you finish. Unless you're Sam, which in that case you die, and you have to restart from the beginning. And yeah, these are all my credits of all the tutorials I used and all the sounds I used. And obligatory Toad included at the end because that was a secondary theme I thought. So yeah, that's it for the Toiler. You play as the Toiler, and turns out I was the Toiler throughout this entire situation because of the amount of pain I had to do to get everything working. So yeah, that's it. Do you have any other questions about some things I could talk about?
Alright, that was great. That's amazing. I mean, to be honest, you made a ton of progress for having no experience. Like, that's really good in my opinion. That's
Really?
good message, yeah. And to be honest, I think you answered most of the questions we had for you. There's maybe just one more. Like, was there any interesting bugs or like funny moments that happened during development?
I could actually talk about how some of the things work in this game, which is a mess of its own, right? If you saw like how Solomon did this game, or if you watch any good tutorial on how to make a game in Godot or something, there's this thing called state machines, right? You have a state for the character, whether he's moving, walking, attacking, etc. And based on what's happening, there'll be appropriate reactions. For this game, there are no state machines. The character basically runs on almost the base Godot script that I modified a little bit to make things work and allow him to take damage. And the way the sword is coded is each entity in the game. So, by the way, they're separate entities. Even though you see two smiley faces in the game, they're all separate entities. One's called Glaggle 1 and the other's called Glaggle 2. They all have a hit function inside of their own character body that takes care of how they take damage and what happens to the health bar. And what the code that's attached to the collision of the sword does is that it's a match statement, or for people that know Java because of our school, it's essentially a switch statement. It checks for the name of the body, and depending on what the body name is, it runs this code, which for this one, it damages it by... The first one has like 25 health, so it does 5 damage. The second one also has 25 health, but I decided to make it do like 15 damage, so you kill it in 3 hits. And this also includes God himself. He's also part of the match statement. He takes 5 damage with a health pool of 100. And speaking of God, this reminds me of a thing I had to do. I had to actually buff him because he was a little too easy to kill despite already being pretty much half dead and not responsive at all. In the beginning level, if you jump on the Glaggle sword, you'll see that your character bounces. Because I add a little thing that when you get hit, you'll also add a little bit of velocity to the Y and you bounce up for a hit reaction. God has the same thing, but for him, I ended up making it too high, so what you could do before I patched it really quickly was you could smack him once or twice, and he would be high enough for you to walk under him safely and hold your sword up. So you just stand there for like 5 seconds while he bounces on your sword and just dies really easily. And there was one more interesting thing that actually kind of works if you're even if it's a spot, and I don't even know if I can pull it off. Yeah, it works. Okay, let me kill him real quickly so I could show what I mean. But what I wanted to do with the dodge is I could make him very interactable. I wanted him to at least track the player with its eye, because it's four separate sprites: his skull, his jaw, his tongue that's underneath, his body, and his eye. And there's a huge collision box just past the spikes, I think, for God. And what happens is when you enter the collision box, the eye looks at the player. I couldn't figure out how to make this work with the process so it's constantly looking at the player, but if you're seeing my screen right now, if you look at his eye, I'm going to jump in, and suddenly it's going to look towards where the player was when it entered the collision box. Just very slightly, but you saw that he looked up. But the idea behind that is that I want to be looking at the player constantly to add even more to like the whole scare factor of the Halloween theme we had going on. So that's about it for the interesting bugs and other parts of this game. I didn't really document much unless you saw some of my screenshots in general. I believe one of the comments I left in my code was just talking about how much I hate the way the sword works, but because it's all just hard coded to damage each certain enemy instead of being what I understood in theory but couldn't pull it off by actually writing it myself. So that concludes my presentation on the Toiler game.
Alright, great. Thank you very much, Dachi.
Thank you. Amazing game. Very cool, very fun, and yeah, I've tried multiple times to try to get underneath the god boss at the very end, but it's a little hard.
Because I buffed him.
All right. Next up we have the Midnight Oil by Jalista.
Oh my god, hi, that's me. Yeah. So I didn't have much time to prepare for the this closing ceremony. So do you have questions?
Yeah, of course. Do you think you could start off by just telling us like what your game is about?
Yeah, basically the general concept of it is that you're a college student, you procrastinated an assignment, you're home alone, and you're working on it late at night, toiling, some might say. And you just sort of walk down a dimly lit hallway, and that's kind of the whole game.
Oh, nice. And how did you come up with the idea for your game?
I came up with the idea for the game by mostly through experience. Of I procrastinated many an assignment, and I got frightened very easily, and so late at night I would be working on stuff, and I would just occasionally like look over my shoulder, just sort of the feeling of like unease, like someone's watching you. Just sort of an unsettling sort of feeling. That was sort of how I came up with like the general vibe of what I wanted to make. And like mechanically speaking, like I played Inscription, great game. I really liked the first sequence of that game, specifically like the first part where you have to like get up from the table and like walk around, and there's like this creepy guy, and it's like you don't really want to turn your back on him, but you have to. And like I really liked how that controlled. It felt like it felt very frightening to me. And so that's sort of just the vibe that I wanted to capture, and that's sort of how I came up with that.
Okay, I see. Awesome. And I think you might have touched on this a little bit already, but how did you incorporate the theme of the game jam into your project?
Yeah, I was really lucky actually because when I like before the theme got announced, I was already thinking of like a game like this because I was just sort of like I've had an idea in my mind like this for a while now, and like hearing Toil that got me thinking about like working late at night on uh assignments that you should have been working on earlier and like pulling all nighters and stuff. And so when I heard Toil, that yeah, that just the connections sort of clicked in my mind. So I got really lucky on that one.
Oh, nice. All right, that's perfect then. And were there any interesting bugs or like other funny moments during the development?
Um, during during the development, there were a few bugs. Not many of them were very funny until like about an hour ago. Um, I was showing the game off to my girlfriend, and she managed to interrupt one of the walk cycle animations and break out of bounds. I have no idea how she did that. I've not been able to replicate it. It shouldn't be possible. Um, that was just sort of the funniest bug that I encountered. Um, all the other bugs were just like minor things of like, oh, the wave files are exporting differently than I thought they would with Godot, and so I need to change up a script for how they play.
Oh, nice. It's a magic touch. When somebody else touches it, it breaks, but when you touch it, it just works perfectly.
Yeah. It's really good to like have other people play your games. I'm really lucky that I got her to play my game because now I know where to look if I ever want to like expand this out a bit.
Yeah, I
Nice.
definitely think
Alright.
this game is very well made. Was there any particular reason why you chose the Godot game engine as opposed to other engines for this?
Um, Mostly because I'm biased against Unity. I've been a Unity hater since day one. Just unjustifiably for no reason. Um, and Unreal confuses and scares me. I feel safe and at home with Godot. Um, and so I wanted to, it's a game jam, 48 hours, and I'm working on my own. So I wanted to just make something quick, and I have the most experience with that with Godot.
Yeah, honestly, I have the same sentiments. I just don't like Unity for completely like unjustifiable reasons, and I just much prefer Godot. But this is really a great example of like what the Godot engine can handle. And I honestly really love the way that this game is rendered. Everything is pixelated, but you could tell that these are most likely 3D models, right?
Yeah, they're 3D models that I slapped together in like 15 minutes in Blender. And how the pixelation works is Godot is real nice when you're trying to get a pixelation effect on stuff like this because you can just render the viewport at a lower resolution and then upscale it with like nearest neighbor stuff. So it has this nice pixelated look that is desirable sometimes. And you don't have to mess with like post processing or shaders or anything like that.
Yes, it's really cool, and I love the way that you. I suspected that that was kind of what you had done to kind of get this effect, but yeah, it's really cool. It's a really great game that you've made.
Thank you.
All right. I don't want to have to play through the whole game just so that everybody else can get their own chance to play it as well. But I do highly recommend that people try out this game. But yeah, thank you very much. Our next game up will be. We will be skipping over Cowboy Zelda since it's kind of a joke submission. But we will be going for Toil and Trouble by Flump. So let me get that up. Oh, Windows protected my PC. Yep, it's a virus. All right.
Okay. So, Isabella, do you think you could tell us what your game is about?
Yeah, so basically, you play is a toad witch, and you are trying to make a potion. So you're going around the woods gathering ingredients to make a potion. That's pretty much the general gist of the game. It's very, very, very short.
I love it.
Oh no, this is my first solo project. I usually only ever do art. So this is my first time like fully coding it. I think the only time I did coding was in Unity. Unity, and that sucked. So there's a lot of bugs in it, like the spell thing, which I did very last minute this morning, where you can only shoot up. What else? Oh, the idea for the game. So when I heard toil, the only thing I could think of was the Shakespeare thing with toil and trouble, royal, double, double, trouble, that one. So I thought of witches making a potion, and that's what the idea for this came from.
Alright, perfect. And I think you touched on this a little bit, but like, how did you incorporate the theme of the game jam into your project? I mean, it's pretty obvious. There's like a toad right there, but
There's a toad right there. Yeah, you're a toad witch, and toil. I guess toiling was just you working to find the ingredients for the potion. But mainly all I could think of was the poem from Toil, the double toil and trouble.
alright, I see. And were there any like interesting bugs or funny moments that happened during development?
Yeah, you can see him right now on the screen. Sam's shooting a spell in one direction. I wanted to have it so that you shoot where the mouse goes, and I tried like different things like getting the goal position of mouse, and then doing like go to or like the move to thing, but that just ended up like it kind of glitching on the screen a lot. Um, and then there was another one. Oh, okay. If Sam collects the potion ingredient and then hits E. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, well, it's supposed to take you to another scene, and there's like witch hunters there, and I kind of messed up with the collision things, and you kind of could just take them wherever you wanted to go. You just drag them across the screen. They don't do any damage because I added them last minute, but you can shoot them and they'll die. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Alright, great, thank you.
I guess on my end, my question is, first off, is this potion ingredient a frog hand or like a toad
Yes,
hand?
that is a frog hand, yes.
And then my second question is this spell just the Godot icon but like purple and squished?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I was like,
I added it this morning, so there wasn't a lot.
because I've been staring at it while I was firing. It's like that looks eerily like the Godot icon. I just like it's too fast for me to really see, but yeah.
Oh, you have a good eye. There's no way I would have figured that out.
If you work in Godot a really long time, you'll just recognize the Godot icon in anything. All right, well,
Aided by dreams.
well, thank you so much, Isabella, for your game. It's very cute, and I love it a lot. I love the pixel art in it as well. Did you make the pixel art yourself, or were there assets imported from somewhere?
Tile sprites for the forest are not mine, but everything else in terms of sprites is mine. Also minus the Godot image I did.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much. Next up, we have the Quest of Nathan, which I believe on my desktop is just called Final. All right, let me see. Oops. Quest of Nathan application. Yep. Yes. Run anyway. All right.
Alright, do we have the correct Nathan in here to speak with us, or somebody else in the group?
So like our leader, who is responsible for like all the creative aspects of this game, isn't here. So I can't really comment much on a lot of the development process. But
that's okay.
I can try my best.
Yeah, of course, no problem. Do you think you can start by telling us what the game is about?
So you play as this toad. I believe his name is Nathan, and you go through this like graveyard, fighting these like pumpkin enemies, and then at the end there's like a final boss.
Oops.
Oh, that's right. Very cute.
So I am here. So this game, I am a programmer on this game. Oh, the attack animation actually works. I didn't see the. So while I was programming this, I didn't have much time. So there's supposed to be another mob. It's supposed to be a ghost. We didn't have any ones. Don't worry about the void. I was about to put the wall there, but yeah. I spent a few hours of my time doing the main menu and the death screen. I have some few problems with the bugs, like the crow bug at the end, the boss. I think the boss attack animation, where when the boss attacks, he's supposed to do the boss and attack animation once your player goes in age. Apparently, it's doing it right now in this section, which I don't see. The camera is supposed to be above, but I didn't want to deal with the camera anymore. So I moved on to other things. I guess that's it. The title of the game wasn't my idea. It was the game designer, the Lo-Fi boy. He invited me to his team. So, yeah. There are some few bugs in this game.
I know you all said that the person who was like behind the idea of the game is not here today, but do any of you like know like how you all came up with the idea of this game?
Oh, I talked with him, and you know, the title. In the Discord, we just noticed there's like 3 Nathans in the Discord, right? So I guess we got the idea, and we just named it The Quest of Nathan. Why not? Just to keep it simple, we made the game into a platformer and some Halloween themed assets.
Yeah, I do love the sprite work in the game, and it's really cute.
I actually didn't. If there's so I was programming this. Actually, this is my first time programming without tiles. These are not tiles. On Unity, these are actually just straight up PNGs, and I just added collisions. Object collisions on the platforms.
Yeah, of course. Awesome. Did you want to kind of credit who worked on the game, like your artists, programmers?
Yeah, it should be in the description.
Let me pull it up.
There's a Nathan A is responsible for the audio, and the Lo-Fi man. I don't know his real life name. Well, who cares? Until he gives me his name now, I'll put it up there. Yeah, that's our team.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you very much. In that case, we'll go on ahead to Toils of Death: A Toad's Journey, which is browser game.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Alright. You can start off by telling us what your game is about.
Yeah, so when I was brainstorming, I didn't really have anything for Toad yet. So I was like, okay, Toil, what can I do with Toil? This is the most tedious part of video games. I thought about the memes about escort missions, so I decided that the Toil part of a game would be an escort mission. But this escort mission is the entire game and extremely tedious, as the dialogue is stating right now. And yeah, that's the Toil, and then you are a Reaper and you are escorting a Toad. So that is essentially the idea of the game. And you can hold right click to make the dialogue go faster. There you go. So yeah. And this is the game. You play as the Reaper using WASD, and then you can also use space to attack. And then the Toad, you would turn, and then when you hold the up arrow, he will jump forward, but only if he is lit up. And you see bonfires around that he can use for lighting, or you have to escort him through. Yeah, that is essentially the gameplay.
Nice. And did you make all these sprites yourself?
Yeah, this was all me.
Oh, I like the Toad sprite. And
There
did
you
you
go.
have any interesting bugs or like funny moments during development?
Everything broke about 15 minutes before 3 o'clock, so that was fun. And then I think I got most of it sorted. I never actually play tested this game during the entire jam. So I started it super late and I just didn't have time. And then just go up. So. And then you just kind of go through a couple levels. Each level introduces a new enemy. So this will be snakes. And yeah. And then don't hit the snake.
I immediately hit the snake.
Yeah. They kind of intentionally blend into the ground. And then if you go too far away from the Toad, you'll see that he doesn't want to jump anymore.
Is it possible for? Oh, actually, I thought this was water and I couldn't pass through that.
You're the Reaper, so you can just go anywhere. You can leave the map if you want.
All right.
Like, you're dead. There's no reason for you to have mortal boundaries. The Toad is not that though. So yeah, you just get to deal with an escort mission the entire game of a character that can't even move on his own. Yeah. Any other questions?
I think that's all I had. Sam, did you have any more questions?
Oh, I'm just trying to escort. I'm so focused on trying to escort this guy right now.
Yeah,
Oh.
don't worry about it. I think you answered everything that we had in mind.
So I see that you obviously you've made this game in Unity. How did you what program did you use to make the sprites? Were all of these sprites made by you?
Yeah, all the sprites were made. The tiles are 32 by 32. The top UI is 16 by 16, and then the characters are 64. Half of it was made in a browser thing called, what's the name? Hold up. Half of them were made in pixelart.com, and half of them were made in Pascal, because someone else told me I should use Pascal, but I only ever used the other one. So I spent my time using two different things.
Oh no! Oh no, the frog! No, okay, well. Alright, I failed the escort mission. No one, I have to start over. This really is toiling for real.
Yep.
I kind of skipped through the dialogue, but was there any lore reason I'm escorting this toad?
That's just your job as the Grim Reaper. I won't I won't spoil the story, but there's some slight story at the end.
Oh, okay, awesome.
You can go left if you want. It kind of bypasses some of it. You go up.
Hold on, I have to finding my demons right now.
You can kind of go around it. I didn't want to make it too linear. I was just like, people can go where they want. Yeah, and then his sprite slightly changes when you're too far away.
Oh yeah, I noticed that he kind of like turns lighter.
The sprite isn't big enough, but his eyes go like super wide, and he turns like greenish.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
And then the salt damages you as well. And I don't really know why I added that. It didn't really add anything to the game, but sure.
Alright, this is the
And then
boss.
you go up. Nope, you don't have to fight the boss if you don't trigger it.
Oh, sick. And then how many levels did you end up making for the game?
5. But the first one was just that very easy. You move forward without enemies.
I see. All right, no problem then. I probably won't have time to play through the whole game, but yeah, thank you so much, Seth, for talking about the game with us. Super fun. I'm sure I'll play this once the ceremony is over, just so that I can get that little bit of lore at the very end.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Next up we have Legend of the Toad Lord, and I believe that is a game that I have to. Oops, this is still open. Let me get that up. Yes, I know it's a virus. All right. Do we have the representative for this game available or here?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we're here. Yes. So I was, I guess, the lead of this team. It was 4 people, including myself. We had 2 programmers, an artist, and a musician. The musician and the artist definitely pulled their weight, and then me and the programmer, we tried. So I'll say. The basic gist of it, the volume does not work, sorry. But the basic gist was we were thinking, okay, what do we think of when we think of words toil and toad? Well, you think of toads when you think of toad, and when you think of toiling, you think of really hard and obnoxious manual labor. And where is that best located at? Well, in mines, of course. So we didn't really get too far into it, but if you left-click on the enemies, it'll kill them, and then if you right-click on the stones, it will put them into a different state if they've actually broken. And then there is a giant boss monster. The player cannot die, unfortunately. And that's about as far as we got in terms of development. What we wanted to add was a way to actually, count the number of resources you had, death state for the player, as well as actual attack animations, but we didn't get that far. And then in terms of the lore of the game that also didn't get implemented, we were talking about how there's supposed to be also a female character that you can play as, and they hear of the legend of the Toad Lord, and they went into the cave to explore that legend, but it didn't end up being a large toad like they thought it was. It was a giant amalgamation of toads. So that goes into the Halloween theme. Definitely the funniest thing that we had happen was once we got the final Toad Lord boss sprite kind of close to the end there, so we had to really quickly implement it. We forgot to update the animations. So once the player actually got close enough where the boss would target them, he would just turn into a tiny toad. It's really dumb looking, but yeah, that was where we got.
That's right, it's definitely something to behold.
Like I said, the sprite work, I mean, you can't hear it here, but definitely there's some
Are you stuck right now, Sam?
Yeah, I do seem to. The frog monster has pushed me into the void, and I cannot escape his clutches. We are stuck in this eternal dance where he and I must forever be pushed deeper and deeper into the abyss. We are both toiling away. I do love the sprite work on the both the main character and on the boss. It's just very detailed and it's honestly very amazing. Do you intend on perhaps like continuing work on this game to get it to the point that you guys wanted it to, or?
Yeah, it seems like everyone's willing to. It was kind of our first day had the fantastic setbacks of everyone that worked on the game was one of my friends in real life, but most of them go to different colleges. So I was talking to one of my other buddies, my other programmer, Julian, and he was like, yeah, sure, I'll help you program, but he unfortunately didn't know how to use Git at all, and he was relatively unfamiliar with Unity. So the first day was us implementing things, me trying to teach him, and then we got to the point where all of the stuff that we did day one kind of broke when we wanted it to not break. So we had to go back and then do everything after we hit like the 36-hour mark in terms of programming. So that's why a lot of this stuff looks a little janky in terms of sprite work and everything, or animation work, I mean. But we want to continue working on it and try and get it more finished state at least.
Of course, I would definitely love to see what this game looks like once everything that wanted to get implemented gets implemented. I kind of resetted the game here so that I could actually play through some of the other parts of the gameplay, like mining.
There's supposed to be 3 different variants of blocks that you can write, the red one, the green, and the blue one. We're supposed to count up. We also wanted to try and add some form of...
Oh no, there he is. Oh no, I'm stuck. I'm in his clutches. Alright.
That was all we had.
Well, yeah, thank you so very much. This was really amazing. I'm again looking forward to kind of what comes out of this game at the very once you guys sort of work on the development for it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right. Next up we have Fervor. Let me close this other game. Let me pull this up. Run anyway.
We have somebody to represent Fervor.
I'm sorry, I was using the restroom.
It's all good.
Anyway, so this is roughly my second to third page. But the first time I did it alone, and the first time I used another engine, so I don't know how to explain this. So yeah, so the original concept, I could talk about the development concepts. So originally, I wanted this game to be. Well, I should talk about the concept first. So I was intending to go with the theme with foiling. So what I had in mind was basically I just wanted to make this concept for a bit, which is basically you're a character, but you're not protagonist string. So I wanted to develop this concept more, and the first idea I had was an action platformer. But I realized I don't think I could do a lot with the time I'm given, so then I resorted to making it a platformer, so anyway, so the overall concepts, so I changed the concepts from the, okay Sam, so if you continue on Sam, I could show you what the concept I had in mind for both the platformer and so there's a toad, I added it just because he did. But the toad takes your jumping capabilities. And so, behold the thing mechanic. You jump out.
Oh no.
So
Hold S to
So
close.
that's the concept that I wanted to go with. Basically, you're not protagonist string, so you basically have to navigate a platformer-esque stage, but you have crippling stamina. Unfortunately, I couldn't go really far because I suppose this was the first time I used Godot, so I was mostly experimenting with it a lot. But yeah, overall, I think it was pretty. Yeah.
I love it. That's really creative. Is there anything you learned during this development of this game?
Learning Godot. Since it was the first time I had to read a lot of tutorials, like, oh god, how do I get the nodes of the other stuff? And so I ended up getting those, and I believe because I had to look at everything, it was pretty short. If you go over the little gap, you would reach the end of the entire game, which, yeah, I'd love to expand this concept more if I could, which I probably will. But overall, yeah. As for anything funny or funny bugs, I have 2 videos. I'm not sure if I can actually show them on the screen, but I'll just put them here in the lounge chat. There's just one of them.
This game is so big brain for me right now. I'm like using every single neuron in my mind. I'm actually toiling for real.
So yeah, even if it's short, I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a really cool concept. Since this is your first time using Godot, what engine are you normally most comfortable with, and why did you choose Godot for this project?
To be honest,
Oh my god, no! Why did I fall?
I mostly, in the past, I would actually use Roblox. I don't think I could use that, and second of all, I don't want to use Roblox. So I was looking into other game engines, and that seemed very promising.
Well, this is a really, really cool concept. I'm excited to see kind of what you deal with this concept while I kind of toil away at getting to the very end of this. Alright. Yes!
Yeah,
we did it!
That's it.
Honestly, that's still a fair amount of gameplay. I think you did a really good job with this. I really love the way that you've incorporated the mechanics here. Oh no.
Did you make all the sprites and animations
I
yourself?
made all the sprites. The only thing I didn't make was the font, which is the credits for.
I see. Yeah, the sprites and like the animations are really polished. I think they look really nice.
Just big mistake. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Is it actually possible to? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is.
It is possible. Okay, I'm just stupid then. All right, we'll figure this out.
Got this. Oh no, Japan. The animations were a bit rushed since they had to make them today.
It looks honestly still really good though. For something that was rushed. But yeah. I won't keep at it for very long on this. I do highly recommend everyone play this game because I do believe the mechanics are very, very cool. But yeah, thank you so much. Next up, we have one last game. We have Total Recall, which is this one.
It's Total Control. So yeah, this is our game, Total Control.
Fire soundtrack, so
Yeah.
if someone wants to.
I'll share my screen and so people can hear the soundtrack.
Start. So this game is a tower defense, but with a twist. We decided that we wanted the toil aspect of the game to be the twist to the gameplay. So, we thought, what better way to do that than to make the player multitask? So, yeah, you can read some of the controls there. It's kind of a lot.
I guess the best way is just throw yourself in it.
Yeah.
It's just a tower defense.
So you can press 1, 2, or 3 to place towers, and basically, it's just like a normal tower defense, except for when the enemies get to the end, there's a little bit different behavior. So basically, the enemies, instead of getting destroyed, they circle the room that you're in, and they start shooting projectiles at you, similar to like how Undertale does its combat. And so you don't take damage unless you get hit by their projectiles.
And towers have a limited lifetime, by the way.
Realized.
Also, it's horribly balanced, so yeah, we barely had time to play Tested at all.
If you right click, if you have a lot more mana, you're kind of out right now. But if you right click, you'll do like a light ease spell that'll kill any enemy that's inside of your like range with the cursor. So it's used to kill the enemies that kind of enter your room.
Oh, I see.
So, you should let some of the enemies get to the end so you can show off the second part. And yeah, so basically the whole concept was that like if you let enemies go through, then you're gonna have to start multitasking and dodging the bullets while playing with the tower defense.
Oh, I see.
And then having the towers on an timer makes it so that you have to like keep placing towers and stuff, and you can't just like sit there without really on the power set.
Yeah, if you keep letting enemies get to you, then you'll start taking damage.
Yeah. So you can see it gets pretty challenging if you have a lot of enemies stacking up. You can also use the spell to kill the enemies around.
I'm out of mana. I'm going through it right now. Oh god. On my Undertale playthrough.
And then you can upgrade each tower type if you
Holy shit! Oh god!
It'll kill all the enemies.
Oh, I died. Oh, that's really cool though.
You can also upgrade your towers too if you click on the little candy corn area to the right.
Oh.
Each tower has the rules with 3 different spits, and it's just they're quite expensive because we thought the upgrades were really strong. So
Right. And were there any like interesting bugs or funny moments that happened during development?
many bugs.
There's a lot of bugs.
One of the bugs that's right now is if you upgrade a tower and then you die, the tower stays upgraded for the next run. So,
There was one where, like, if you placed a tower, but you pressed a different key while you were moving your cursor around, it would spawn like a bunch of towers all over the map.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
What was the bug that we had? Oh no, you're good. I was just gonna say another bug we had was at one point we had a custom cursor and it was completely fine until like the last half an hour where the cursor took up a giant portion of the screen and we had no idea why. It was really funny.
You had to rebuild. There's a cute cutie on the lily pad somewhere in the map. And
It's on the top right.
Tui! Where is he?
It's like middle.
Oh, there
There
he
he
is!
is!
Oh, I love
And also,
Tui.
if you, I mean, I think you already used the lightning spell, but it also like lights up the whole map and makes it look pretty cool.
Oh. Testing.
So
Yeah, in terms of art and music. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
Do you want to mention the fog yet or not?
There was a fog that covered the entire screen.
Oh,
that
shit.
was pretty cool. And you were supposed to like sweep your mouse across the screen to get rid of it. But I don't know why the builds didn't take it. It's in the scene, it's just on the build, so that took me like a few hours, but it's okay. We don't need it.
Ah, yes,
This looks really cool, though.
the feature you spent hours on doesn't work, and you know that's totally fine.
We used it on a different project.
But yeah, this game is
In
super
terms of
cool,
art
you
and
guys.
Music, thank you. In terms of art and music, I was the only artist and composer, so the programmers did all the heavy lifting in terms of creating the game. I was so fortunate to join this team of friends where they were just powerhouses. But at the same time, I had to powerhouse my way through and provide all the art and music. All of the sounds and assets are original. They're handmade, so it took a very tedious and large amount of time, but I think it 100% paid off. It was a blast to make.
Yeah, definitely.
I handled most of the visuals. I took a lot of the artwork that Charlie made, and then I kind of did all the level design and created where like the well, basically sorry, that's where all the enemies would kind of go. And then Ben and David did a bunch of other more scripting stuff.
Or Easter egg. So in the room with the wizard, in the top right corner, there's a little Freddy Fazbear
Oh, Freddy
plush.
Fazbear!
And if you look really closely on the red rug, there's a little Among Us right in the middle.
Oh yeah, I see him.
I literally forgot about that.
I'm trying to think of more Easter eggs. Next to the bed, there's a little pool of tadpoles, and that was kind of like the elder toads, I don't know, children or something. And the story was that the place that you're in is Bog's Bottom, and so you're this elder grandpa toad who's trying to fend off all these pumpkins that are trying to attack the toad and his grandchildren, and so your goal is obviously to prevent that from happening.
This game is absolutely amazing, you guys. You definitely should be proud of, especially in the amount of time that the Game Jam was. It was only 48 hours, but to have something like this kind of fully fleshed out game, even with some of the missing features that you guys couldn't have or some unintentional bugs and stuff, I think it's still really well made.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. You guys got a lot of features into it. That's amazing.
I could see myself playing this for hours, honestly.
It was honestly a vibe to like play test and like try our best to balance, although we didn't get to do too much of it.
Also, just like to say, you were very good at the game. I struggle with multitasking a lot. I've not made it past like round 5, so this is very impressive.
Oh no, I don't have any. I can't summon anything. Oh god.
Yeah.
I might have just jinxed it. Oh no.
We plan on adding a leaderboard system once the voting for the Game Jam is over. So, and we're gonna definitely rebalance the game. I think all of us really enjoy this. So.
Yeah, of course. This is an amazing concept. Please summon lightning. No. Alright. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. This is a really great game, and I think you covered most of the questions that would have talked about. Anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, that will be the end of this year's Game Jam. Like I said in the announcements, there will be a week of voting between now and October 20th at 3 p.m. After 3 p.m., we will announce the winners of the best overall game for the teams and best overall game for the solo developers. And each winner will receive a $25 Amazon gift card. I will be, once those winners are announced, I will be contacting the winners to just confirm that the emails are correct, or if there's a preferred email you'd rather have the prize sent to, then we could talk about that as well. Mainly because the gift cards will be sent through email, and then the codes and everything. If there aren't any other questions, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who participated. I hope everybody had fun with the Game Jam. I hope it wasn't too stressful, and I hope that everybody learned something new this year. And I'm really excited to see the kinds of games that you work on either for the rest of the year, or if you plan on continuing these games that you have here. I'm very excited to see where that ends up at. And I hope to see you guys again next year for next year's Halloween Horror Jam. But again, thank you so much. Was there anything else you wanted to say as well, Melvin?
Not really. I just wanted to say, like, yeah, you all did a really awesome job. These were some really great games, especially made in, like, just a span of 48 hours. So you all really outdid yourselves this time. I was just really impressed, and I just hope you all got a reasonable amount of sleep during this past weekend. And yeah, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much, you guys. Really hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. See some of you guys at school again tomorrow. But yeah, happy Halloween, everyone.